Hello everybody, welcome back to Daily Dictation 173. DD 173 will be a short dialogue from an old television program called Star Trek: The New Generation. It's a great dialogue, and in the dialogue you will learn an expression, an idiom. You will also learn in the explanation, in the next lesson, I will explain the word literally, and that was a question from, I want to say Ashran. That was a question from Arash, So Arash, wait for the next lesson, and I will explain the word literally, and of course DD 173. But before we go there, we need to go back to DD 172, which was about the European Union winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Why did they win? Listen again.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded the EU's efforts to hold the Union together in the face of the debt crisis and its 6 decades of work to advance peace and reconciliation.
I thought this would be difficult, but you guys did a very good job. Let me read the answers. The Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded the EU's efforts to hold the Union together in the face of the debt crisis and its 6 decades of work to advance peace and reconciliation. So we've got some big words. Let's start at the top. The Norwegian. So you probably know that the Nobel Prize comes from Alfred Nobel, who was from Norway. So, being from Norway, the adjective is Norwegian. The language is Norwegian, the food is Norwegian, and the Norwegian Nobel Committee. So the Nobel Committee, which is in Norway, the Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded the EU's efforts. What does applauded mean? It means they clapped their hands for. They were very positive about. I applaud your efforts. Oh, I think you're doing a great job. I applaud all of you. You guys are studying English very hard, and you're joining me every lesson, and I applaud your efforts. I applaud your dictations. You're doing great. I'm very impressed, and hopefully you'll continue, and I will be here for you. So, the Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded, not you, they applauded the EU, the European Union's, this is a possessive, efforts. Their work, their endeavors, their goals, what they're doing. They applauded what the EU is doing to do what? To hold the Union together in the face of debt crisis and its 6 decades. So 2 things. Efforts to A and B. Now, they don't actually match grammatically, but we can understand. So the efforts to hold the Union together, to keep the Union together. So instead of hold, we can say to keep the Union together. In this case, we can use a small u, okay? There are many unions. There was the USSR, which was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, is that right? I think that's right, the USSR. I apologize to my thousands of Russian fans. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. I think that's right. That was the old USSR. Of course, now it's broken up into Russia. We have the European Union. America is a union. We have 50 states and they're a union. Okay, so there are many unions, so we can say a small letter in this case. the efforts to hold the Union together, to keep the Union together, to prevent the Union from breaking apart, to prevent the Union from falling apart. It's the same idea, but more positive, to keep the Union together, to hold the Union together in the face of debt crisis, in the face of the debt crisis. We say the because we are referring to the current debt crisis. And if you watch the news, wow, Greece, Spain, Italy, Portugal, so many countries, especially those countries, seem to be having a very difficult time economically. And I hope that you guys are okay. I know it's got to be tough, and yeah, I worry the whole world might be falling into a worse and worse situation. So this could be chaos for a lot of people. So if you're in Greece and Spain, Portugal, Italy, my heart goes to you, and I'm hoping for the best. So the Union is staying together, so the Nobel Committee is applauding the EU's efforts to keep it together. In the face of something, a very good expression, in the face of something bad. So usually we say, in the face of adversity, in the face of, I'll write here, adversity, in the face of adversity. Another idea. The doctor tells me, Shane, you should not smoke. Smoking might cause cancer. And I'm smoking. I'm smoking in the face of danger. I'm smoking in the face of cancer. So danger's bad, cancer's bad, and here I am smoking. Not very smart. But I'm fighting in the face of danger. So for example, if there's a thief, a burglar, maybe some guy with a knife, and he's coming to my house to steal, I don't have anything, my books, and my video camera, and my computer, and I'm fighting. I've got my magic markers, and I'm hitting the guy. Ah! I'm fighting the man in the face of danger. He's got a gun, and I'm fighting. So sometimes, in the face of danger, can be positive. In this situation, they're keeping the Union together in the face of debt crisis. So this is a very negative thing. But what they're doing is good. If I'm smoking in the face of cancer, that's a stupid thing. Cancer's negative, and I'm being stupid. If I'm fighting a bad guy in the face of danger, that's good. I'm trying to protect myself and my home. Okay? Do you understand? So in the face of usually something bad, in the face of cancer, in the face of danger, in the face of adversity, in the face of the debt crisis. So that's the first thing the EU is doing that the Nobel Committee is applauding. The second thing that the EU is doing that the Nobel Committee is applauding is and it's. And it refers to the EU. And this is a possessive, no apostrophe. It's 6 decades. 6 decades is, of course, 60 years. It's 6 decades of work. Instead of work, we could say effort. It's 6 decades of effort to do what? To advance, to promote, to expand, to increase peace and reconciliation. So we got to go back 60 years. 60 years was 1952. They actually probably mean since the end of World War II. So 60, 65 years. Yeah, it ended in 1945. But since then, from 60 years ago up until now, the EU is trying to promote, expand, advance peace and reconciliation. What does reconciliation mean? Reconciliation means to rebuild friendship. Reconciliation has several meanings, but I think in this situation, rebuilding friendship, rebuilding close relations is the idea. So many countries at the end of World War II, they were nervous. They didn't like each other. They were nervous about Germany, nervous about Italy. Could they become powerful countries again? So the EU has been working to smooth the relations, to improve the relations. Of course, they're referring to within the EU. Yes, we cannot disagree, I don't think. The EU is keeping the Union together, and the EU has been working to advance peace and reconciliation within the EU. That's true. Is that enough to give a Nobel Peace Prize? Maybe. Many of you believe it's good. It's a good thing, and that's great. Some of you, including me, our image is the Nobel Peace Prize should go to a person or a couple people rather than a huge organization. But maybe my thinking is wrong. Maybe organizations are fine too. So I'll have to think about that again. But personally, my problem is we know that there's a lot of problems in the world right now. Look at Asia. We've got problems between China and Japan, Vietnam, Philippines, China. We've got problems, always have had problems between Pakistan and India. Then there's the Middle East. So many problems between countries in the Middle East. And then the United States gets involved and Europe gets involved through NATO. So many problems. Then there's Africa. Lots of problems within Africa. And when I say problems, I'm talking about wars. Wars everywhere. You talk about Mexico. They've got a lot of problems. War in Mexico with the drug cartels and everything. So, I don't know. I think we need to have some peace, but with all of these conflicts all over the world, all of these people dying and getting hurt, for what? For greed and ideology and I don't know. Personally, it doesn't seem like 2012 has been a very peaceful year. And I'm sure there are many people, many individuals working in many different areas, especially in these areas of conflict, in these areas of war. And I think those people might better I think they're better for the Nobel Peace Prize. They're working hard, and in these areas of conflict, in these countries, usually the people who are trying for peace don't have a lot of money. So the Nobel Peace Prize comes with money, and I think it would be better to give the prize, to give the recognition, and to give the money to an individual person or a small group of people who are really trying to create peace in their community, in their environment, in their country, in their region. And the United States and the EU, I don't know. Personally, it's just my personal opinion, I don't think they should be able to receive such a prize. Do you remember 4 years ago or 3 years ago, President Barack Obama also received the Nobel Peace Prize. And, he was talking about a lot of peace, but since that time, I haven't really seen any peace. And peace is something that should be inside the person. From when they were a little kid until now, until they die. They should always be working towards peace and understanding and respect. Respecting each other. Respecting our differences. So, long story short, congratulations to the EU. But the next Nobel Peace Prize, I hope, goes to somebody who really deserves the Peace Prize. Somebody who really is making a lifelong passion for peace. Anyway, that's my opinion, and I should not talk about opinions, I apologize. But let me read it again. Pronunciation not too bad. Norwegian, Nobel, the American pronunciation, Nobel Committee, applauded the EUs. Now remember, the EU. Canadian friends, a lot will say the EU. But in America, the EU's efforts to keep this, hold the union, because it begins with a Y. Hold the union. Some people hold the union. Both are possible. Hold the union together. Hold the union together. In the face of, when we say it fast, it sounds like in the face of the debt crisis. No B, debt crisis. Crisis, plural form, we change this to an E, crises. But of course, in this case, crisis. And it's 6. Now, the announcer said it's 6 very clearly. And it's 6 decades of work to advance peace and reconciliation. Okay? Let's read it together. You ready? 1, 2, 3. The Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded the EU's efforts to hold the Union together in the face of the debt crisis, and its 6 decades of work to advance peace and reconciliation. Let's listen 2 more times.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded the EU's efforts to hold the Union together in the face of the debt crisis and its 6 decades of work to advance peace and reconciliation. The Norwegian Nobel Committee applauded the EU's efforts to hold the Union together in the face of the debt crisis and its 6 decades of work to advance peace and reconciliation.
Is anybody out there a Trekkie? Somebody who is a big fan of Star Trek is called a Trekkie. Trekkie. Star Trek, Trekkie. Well, since the original Star Trek from a long time ago, when I was a little kid, the 1960s, 1970s, there have been remakes. Star Trek The New Generation, Star Trek The Next Generation, and etc., etc., etc. Personally, I really like Star Trek. I'm not a Trekkie, but I do like it. And this is a great episode that we have. We're going to learn a really good expression. And I'm guessing many of you probably know this expression. And probably you have this same expression in your language. So, I want you to do the dictation, and I want you to write the translation in your language. But please write it in the English alphabet so that I can try and pronounce it. So write it, for example, if you are from Russia, write it in Russian, and I'll use Google Translate. I'll figure it out. But I want to know the key expression in your language too. And I'll try and practice those pronunciations in the next lesson. So this should be a fun lesson. Not too difficult, maybe a little bit, but hopefully you'll be okay. Remember, down below in the description is the link to the video file. So you can watch the full video. It's only a minute long. It's very short. Watch the full video and it should become easier for you. Okay? Don't forget, please follow me on Twitter. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get a picture of this and an audio recording. Eventually, I apologize to my Hallow followers. I'll get it out, especially Yuka. I haven't talked to you in a long time. And I really appreciate it. And of course, share my video. Facebook, Twitter, whatever, okay, on your blogs, please share Daily Dictation so that our family can grow and grow and grow. I really appreciate it. So, that's it for today, and I will not give you a lesson tomorrow, either Thursday or Friday. I guess probably Thursday I'll give you a new lesson, and then Friday we got Friday Night Live. Okay, so I'll see you next lesson. Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye.
We'll all be burning the midnight oil on this one.
That would be inadvisable.
Excuse me?
If you attempt to ignite a petroleum product on this ship at 00 hours, you will activate the fire suppression system.
That was just an expression.
Expression of what?
A figure of speech. We'll all be burning the midnight oil on this one.
That would be inadvisable.
Excuse me?
If you attempt to ignite a petroleum product on this ship at 00 hours, you will activate the fire suppression system.
That was just an expression.
Expression of what?
A figure of speech. We'll all be burning the midnight oil on this one.
That would be inadvisable.
Excuse me?
If you attempt to ignite a petroleum product on this ship at 00 hours, you will activate the fire suppression system.
That was just an expression.
Expression of what?
A figure of speech. We'll all be burning the midnight oil on this one.
That would be inadvisable.
Excuse me?
If you attempt to ignite a petroleum product on this ship at 00 hours, you will activate the fire suppression system.
That was just an expression.
Expression of what?
A figure of speech.
This class was approved by T. Oh, I'm T.